Ravindra ji. Welcome to Love Means Cancer and Zanonco.io. Today we have Ravindra ji with us, who is an expert in usage of medical cannabis for treatment purposes. So, Ravindra ji, can you please first introduce yourself and let us know about how we can use medical cannabis and what are the benefits of using it?
First of all, I'm sorry I have to counter you. I'm not an expert because this is such a vast subject, nobody can ever be an expert. More you learn, more you know, there is a lot to learn. My name is Ravindra Kumar Singhania. I am 71 years old. I had liver problems as a child also, but that had all subsided. Sometimes in 80s, I had started with some problems with my lungs because I was a very heavy smoker, but it didn't affect my day-to-day working. Suddenly in 2013-14, my health started deteriorating. I had various kind of problems which were unexplainable. So I was doing some Ayurvedic treatment initially. Then I was out of Calcutta for some time. So by the time I came back in 2015, I had a hernia issue. So I had one surgery then. In 2016, when I came back to Calcutta, there was a series of surgeries. In 1 year, they did about 3 surgeries on me. One was a hernia, one was prostate, and one was removal of gallbladder. And all those 3 continued. And during the gallbladder surgery, there was an accident inside my stomach, and my navel was cut off from the inside, which lost my whole body balance. From that day onwards, I went on deteriorating. I had developed COPD in 2012. That COPD got worse. It came to a stage where my lungs were only functioning at 12%. And doctors told me that the only way I could live was with lung transplant. So I moved from here to my uncle's place in Ranchi because when death was certain and you had to wait for it, my uncle wanted me to spend my days with him. There I met another doctor who gave me 1 medicine instead of the 10 I was having. I had 3, some minute improvement in my health came, but I was wedded to an oxygen machine 24/7. And I was working on cannabis. Then a friend of mine in America, he told me he was manufacturing cannabis oil, but there was a big trouble in how to get it across. Though I have a large family, related family living in US, they all refused. Finally, somebody I had met casually at a holiday, he was there, he called me up and he said, "Uncle, I have found a medicine which will work wonders for you." I said, "I already know, and it's waiting for me. If you bring it for me, let you know." Medicine arrived on 10th October 2018. I took my first dose. And in 3 days, magic started happening. By the 6th day, I did not need oxygen 24/7. I couldn't walk more than 10 steps. I started walking 2,000 steps a day. In 3 months, my whole system changed. My feet from knee downwards had thrombosis blue veins, which all cleared and became clear. In 3 months, my lung capacity went up to 37.5%. And this was just below the doctor's chamber. So I went up to the doctor, showed him the 2 results. And for the first time, he saw I was not carrying an oxygen machine and I was not gasping for breath. So he said, "अरे आपको अच्छे लगते हैं." I said, "हाँ अच्छा हूँ, इसलिए अच्छा लगता हूँ. अभी रिपोर्ट देख के बताओ इसको कैसे पढ़ते." He showed me how to read the results. And he tells me, हाँ, about 10% फर्क है. So I asked him, "Doctor, I think somewhere आपने mathematics, you forgotten your mathematics. See, it's 12% and 37.5%. That's nearly 200%. That's nearly 200%. So he says, that is right. So he said, "Oh, hope it proves," and I left. Then after that, he refused to talk to me. From then on, I never looked back. I started experimenting with my system. I tried this, I tried that, all kind of things, and I kept on having this cannabis oil. And I found every day my whole quality of life was changing. Not only physically, mentally also. I was more at peace. I never had anxiety earlier also. But there was this thing which told me that, okay, all this while you were thinking, why have you gone through all this experience? Maybe this was the reason. And I started working with it, and I told some of my friends who were in bad shape, they had it, and it worked wonders for them. And during that process, I understood that this is the only herb available which works exactly like your central nervous system. It is the only herb, and it is medically also proved that it creates cells. Any herb which creates cells in your body will create new marrow and new blood. And that is what the whole body chemistry is all about. Once you have that working perfectly, no disease can stay in your body. So based on my experience in that, I found myself a very good manufacturer in Jabalpur who had a license and who is social minded. He is selling the medicine at his cost and he's trying to bring the prices down. He is selling a 110 ml syringe, say for 4,000 rupees. You go around, there are nearly 200 licenses now from the government. And some of them have websites, you go there, they work like American websites. You have to consult their doctor. Then what you're getting is printed, but what you're having may not conform to what is printed there. They keep writing about tested in a laboratory, which is a false claim. Because to set up a laboratory, to isolate the CBD and THC and other components and measure them, costs very, very big money. And nobody has invested that kind of money here. And even in America, there are very few labs who can do that. So all that claim you hear about this percentage, that percentage is not right. The moment you start cultivating the plant and you process it, it becomes like another pharma. The secret lies in having the natural plant and processing it the most normal way. Instead of using machines, you have to use patience. To process one plant and get 10 ml oil will take you 7 to 8 hours of cooking and a few days of maturing. So it's not an instant process. And that is why it gives you all that benefit. What has happened in USA and other places, you will find there's a lot of confusion on this today. Somebody would say, okay, you have this kidney problem, so you use this particular strain. Or if you have colon problem, you use this particular strain. That is nothing but trying to develop business. The only strain which works without any problem is a natural strain. All the other strains you hear about are strains which have been genetically modified or crossbred, which is never correct with any normal natural medicine. So nature will bless you if you use natural products. That is how it came about. Then you here also, I was surprised. There are people who have sprung up overnight who very proudly write that they are consultants on cannabis medicine. They have this membership and that membership. It doesn't work like that. The only way to understand how it works is you have it yourself. I would suggest you have it also. If all of you have it, you'll understand how it works. And then it becomes so easy to give it to somebody else. This stigma about cannabis has been created simply because of one thing. If an ordinary natural herb which grows around in your neighborhood, you can pick it up, make medicine and cure yourself. What's going to happen to trillions of dollars invested in pharma and medicine system, medical colleges, etc.? They can't let that happen. And what about all the money invested in liquor? So this is why the stigma was created. That if somebody has, say, a wild herb and is feeling happy about it, he is not desirable. Because if he is happy, he will not be violent. He will not be violent, he cannot be controlled. To control, you need to have drugs, you need to have liquor, and you have to have all the things which business makes. I mean, I may sound offensive in certain areas, but no, I'm not being offensive, I'm just being factual. All the things I have told you can be checked out as facts. And people used to tell me, oh, you're talking about it openly, you will get into trouble. I said, I invite trouble. At my age, I'm not bothered. What will you do? Put me in jail for saving somebody's life? Please do. In fact, when all this tamasha started in Bombay, I called up a lawyer friend there. He said, why are you playing, guys playing cat and mouse game about the CBD and others in the court? All you have to do is get up and put up a question that let the bureau or whoever is accusing this particular medicine provide one proof of all these years of cannabis's existence or these oils existing, where one person has gone mad or died or got addicted to this. They said, no, they can't because there is no such data available. I said, there you are. If it is a drug, it should be available at a chemist and druggist, right? But it's not. Though, yes, you have all the painkillers based on the great opium. Once you start them, you can't get rid of them. I have patients who I'm guiding. 6 months she's been on cannabis oil. I know 90% of her problem is solved. But she still says, oh, my pain is not going, so I have to take the opioids. You see, the opioids give you such bad addiction. Getting rid of them becomes a problem. If you use cannabis oil and there is an alcoholic, you want to give it to them, I can guarantee you in 3 months, the alcoholic will not touch the alcohol because he wouldn't feel like touching it. But with opioids, it's a different story.
So, can you tell us something about, So can you tell us something about how do we have to use the cannabis to create the oil and what kind of dosage is required?
You see, the beauty of this thing is it understands that every body is different. Whereas the other medical systems, except Ayurveda, do not treat everybody as different. They use a standard clause, standard operation. Now, with cannabis oil, it's so flexible. Let's say you start with 1 grain of mustard size. Whatever the size of the body, whatever the condition, you start with 1 grain of mustard under your tongue. Then you go for 3 grains of mustard, morning, afternoon, night. And you keep slowly increasing it. You come to 1 grain of rice. Say you don't feel too comfortable in the daytime. So take your double dose in the night. See, that's the beauty of it. Then only thing you need with this is only cause it has is some dehydration. Because of the dehydration, people feel fuzzy. Some people say, okay, I'm having a high. You can't get a high because it does not have only the THC, which causes a high according to the scientists, which is again a debatable matter. So what it does is it's simple. One lady said she was having hallucinations. This was a lady in America. So I said, lady, I'm sorry, I don't think you're having the right thing. Maybe you're having cocaine or something else. You're not having cannabis oil. She said, no, I'm definitely having cannabis oil. I said, then did you have water or oil with it or anything to offset the dehydration? She says, no, I wasn't told. I said, have you been to a desert area? He said, yes, I once went to Nevada and I was stuck. And did you hallucinate because you didn't find water? He said, yes. I said, there you go. It is the dehydration caused by the cannabis which gives you that hallucination. So if you keep yourself hydrated, It works wonderfully. So what I tell people, on my experience, I found that instead of just having the oil, if I had, say, a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, in accordance with the doses I'm taking. Say if I am taking, say, if I have cancer, I have to take 1 gram a day. So in 1 gram a day, there can be huge amount of dehydration. So what you do is you either have 2 or 3 spoons of tablespoons, that is 10 ml, of cow ghee, which has the right ingredients, or you have edible coconut oil. These are the only two which keep your internals hydrated in terms of tissues, nerves, and muscles. So people say, I'm having enough water. I said, water is a different ball game altogether. It has certain dehydration units. Then it goes through your kidneys, filtered and out. It doesn't help the body where it's required. You will hear most of these people who come to us have come after medication. 100% of them have constipation. Constipation is caused by the BP medicines, by the various other medicines you're having, pharma medicines. It's called severe dehydration in your intestines and also your waste material. All the water or the oil you're taking for your waste material is absorbed by these drops. Then the stool becomes hard and it becomes very difficult to pass. And there you use pressure and you have hernia and other problems. So there again, I mean, it's irrespective of whether you're having cannabis oil or whatever. Even if you're having pharma and you're having this condition, if you just have coconut oil or cow ghee, 10 ml twice a day with 4 peppercorns crushed into it, you will find even if you have 15-year-old constipation, it goes off. I have one gentleman whose wife had multiple cancers. He said he was having constipation for 15 years. I told him to add that. Reluctantly, he started. In 2 days, he smiling and he telling me, "Arey sir, ये तो ऐसा मैजिक का जैसा काम किया है, इसमें मैजिक कुछ नहीं है। आप अगर बचपन की बात सोचेंगे तो आपकी माँ क्या करती थी? आपको रोटी देती थी, दाल में 1 चम्मच घी एक्स्ट्रा देती थी। किस लिए देती थी? इसीलिए देती थी। वो आप भूल गए, वही मैंने याद करा दिया। It's simple as that. All we do is follow the basic thing, which our Indian households have followed for generations. Nothing else. And what's happened, our Prime Minister has been very forward thinking. Without going to the, the kind of media or general level of understanding we have in our so-called politicians. He didn't make noise about it. He quietly started legalizing it for medical purposes. That was a big, big, big step. In that, you have few people who are genuine. Rest of them are there for making money. Now, Bhupendra is one person who I found was so enamored or so overwhelmed with the people he tried to help that he tells me, sir, he's a young man. He is hardly not even 40. He says, I have enough business and other things to look after my family. I want to make this free for everybody. I said, look, it doesn't work that way. The moment you make it free, nobody will believe in it. As it is, when you tell somebody that 40,000 rupees can cure you of your cancer for life, they laugh at you. They tell you, अरे एक स्कैन कराने को 50,000 रुपया लगता है, बायोप्सी कराने को मेरा घर बिक जाता है, आप बोलते हो 40,000 में कैंसर रिपेयर हो जाएगा. It is but right. So if he goes to an unscrupulous person and they sell it to him for 20,000 a sitting, he's very happy. So that again, we have been through that route, 5 of us. We've been cheated by about 10 people around this country who have put up fancy websites and fancy talks, and they gave you fancy details also. But unluckily for them and luckily for us, I have been off and on associated with the herb for last 60 years. I'm 72. You can understand how when I started. So for me to get full that easily is very difficult. So I tried everything and I got open material first. I tried it. It worked the same magic as the American stuff. And that is when I started telling people, okay, now we have an authentic source, an authentic man who actually wants to help us. And from that day onwards, I run a family called the Navjivan Ka Amrit. Navjivan Ka Amrit is elixir of life, and that is the herb oil, cannabis oil as they call it. We call it the miracle herb oil Amrit. And it works like Amrit with us, and slowly our family is growing. We actually behave like a family. We share our experiences. We share, somebody say, I have suggested something to a lady who has ovarian cancer. Maybe there is another person with ovarian in the family. And she feels that, okay, she should do something different like this. So they suggest you do that. That is how we go about it. You still have a lot of people who come up and say, what is the guarantee cannabis will work? They say there is no guarantee at all. But it has one guarantee. That chemo you went for and it killed your people halfway through, that is not going to happen with cannabis. That is a guarantee. So even then they are confused. They say, look, you know chemo is bad. You see how distressed the person who goes through chemo is. And you still go for it. One person tells me, can I have this and also carry immunotherapy and other IV inputs of supplements? I said, sir, have you decided, have you even, I know common sense is not very common, but have you logically thought that when you are feeding supplements to your body, when a deadly disease is already growing in your system, all the supplements you give are grabbed by the disease to grow. It does not allow your body to take the supplement and kill that. Then what we do? We go for radiation. What is radiation? Internal kebab making process. What you do, make kebab in the open fire. The medical system uses radiation to make a kebab of that particular organ. That is being very blunt and very upfront, but that is the actual fact. That is what happens. Incidentally, out of my school class of 110 people, 43 became doctors. So I have very good insight into doctors. I have at least about 50 friends who are internationally famous doctors. I have friends who are oncologists also. They work in Canada. They all shifted base towards the herbals. I mean, whoever is a doctor. But today it's very difficult to distinguish between a doctor who serves and a doctor businessman. In fact, I've sent you a note, if you see, about somebody who claims to be associated with you. He is bad news. I have three of his victims who we are trying to put right.
So you also mentioned about medical cannabis, where people think that they will get addiction, or maybe it will be like an addiction to them. So what do you have to say about that?
Addiction.
People think, or maybe they believe that they will get addicted to it.
I just told you about that stigma which has been created. No,
yeah.
I asked them only one thing. Once one person told me, oh, what about sir getting addicted? I said, do you have a PP tablet? He says, yes, for the last 25 years. He said, what would you call that? Not addiction? No, the doctor prescribed. I said, it's an addiction. Did you try to get rid of it? Did you go for jogging? Did you improve your lifestyle? No. You took the pill because you're an addict. Then you take a sleeping pill. That is an addiction, right? So I asked this person that, did you ever have any encounter with the so-called ganja or bhang when you were through school or college or whatever? He said, yes, I tried it once and I laughed my guts out. He said, you tried once? I said, yes. Why? Why didn't it addict you? Make you an addict. I had friends that were smoking ganja. I said, are they still smoking it? No, they've all switched to booze, liquor. He said, how come? If there was an addiction, as you claim, or as you've heard, then they should not have been able to give away. Yes, but let me tell you, they mixed tobacco with their smoke. They couldn't leave the tobacco. They got addicted to the tobacco. Why? Because when you process tobacco, various tobaccos are injected or treated with various chemicals. Plus, if you look at a cigarette, next time you look at it closely, you'll find there are rings around the papers. Each cigarette has a different chemical in that ring to make you an addict of that particular brand. That is how the human industry works. How did I find that out? I was lucky. I was going through a phase where I was meditating near a Goa beach. And I met this gentleman who used to come and sit down next to me and meditate. I learned from him. We started talking. And he told me that he comes every year to meditate, sort of wash off his sins. I said, what sins? He says, I'm an advisor to 6 of the biggest tobacco manufacturing companies in the world. And he was having the cheapest Indian cigarettes, which had no rings around it, and which were processed humanly, not through machines and not through chemicals. So he said, why are you smoking these? He says, these do not carry the addictions we make. That was his answer. So that day I really learned a big lesson. And mind you, before that, I used to smoke nearly 150 to 200 cigarettes a day. There used to be a burning cigarette on my finger every time. That I did for 29 years. So weirdly enough, I have been through most experiences in life. I can't even figure out how I did that. Today, when I look back, I find it's impossible to do it in one life. But somehow it all happened to me. Maybe it was to bring me to this stage where I become useful to people. And I'm really happy being useful to people. And see, I find the real pleasure in life is to meet somebody who's crying from inside and make them laugh. So that is what I'm doing. I'll give you one case, an example. We have a gentleman from Jalandhar, a typical brash, young Punjabi man. He is highly educated. He is a biotechnical engineer. He traveled all over the world. He has family all over the Americas. So this friend of mine who made the first cannabis oil batch for me, his name is Jim Gorby, and he lives in a state called Oregon. Oregon has been legal from the beginning of the United States. And there they make this for last 20 years, and they've been supplying to all the big clinics all over the country. And Jim also runs a group called RSO Cured My Cancer. Now, RSO, as you may be aware or not, is called the Rick Simpson oil. He was the guy who made it very popular, and he showed people how to simply make it at home. Rick Simpson was given up by the doctors at stage 4 blood cancer. He used cannabis oil and cured himself. So in his honor, it's called the RSO. Now, after that, the development is further. What we make here in India is even better. So far, they have found only 400 components of CBD and 1 component of THC CBD. No, there are more than 2,000 components of CBD which they are not even aware of. That happens in our country. What we do is we use the roots, the stalks, the leaves, and can extract them to get the full benefit of the plant. So one American had told me that the Indian variety cannot cure. I said, have you ever been to India? He said, no. I said, you come to our country. The natural varieties we grow all over our country will boggle your mind, and you will never leave India and go back to America. Because the kind of varieties we have and the kind of things this can do, you cannot even imagine. You are only a country which is not even 300 years old. And you follow a medical system which is 200 years old. The cannabis medical system is thousands of years old. But due to political reasons and other pressures, it was kept away. You may not be aware, but till 84, 85, it was freely available legally from government shops. You could go to a government shop, buy to a maximum of 10 grams a day. And those were also used for people who had terminal pain, and they used to get this prescription for opium. So they could go and buy the opium from the same shop. Then this pressure from World Bank in America and the liquor lobby came, and it was banned and put into the cluster with drugs. If you notice, the government has moved the UN and not supported it to be for keeping marijuana in the drug section. It's no more used as a drug. And don't you think it's ironic that a country like Canada goes legal, country like USA, which banned it here, goes legal. Even our neighbors, Thailand, who used to shoot people at sight, they have not only gone legal, they have cannabis festivals. They give you a cannabis gourmet diet in the hospital. That is where they have gone. And the country from where this comes from is slowly now advancing. There again, you will have hundreds of bikes, hundreds of things. People will say, "Arey, ye lega, to pagal ho jayega." So I said, "Get me one pagal." I don't get it. The whole of our country. I don't know. Oh, you are from a very nice place. In the place you are, your state, if you have traveled as a child around, you would have found in the villages, right after the farming work is over, they come home. They have their dinner before sundown or by sundown. And then they used to sit with hookahs, little hookahs, and they will mix ganja in it and smoke it. The ladies and the gents and everybody go to sleep peacefully. And if you recall, nobody was ever sick. Ask your father, he'll tell you, 50 years back, there was nobody used to be sick. It's the advent of consumerism, it's the advent of super refined oil, guaranteed to give you cancer. Super refined this, guaranteed to give you cancer. You call it a bioproduct. You call it what? Nature-friendly product. And you pack it in unfriendly packaging. That is where your lie is caught out, no? You call it organic, you pack it in plastic.
Okay, so I think that was something useful that you just shared. So lastly, I would just like to know that why are you actually people must be asking this, like, why are you doing this for others and how? Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's very simple. That is what I was telling you when we stopped the last time. We have this gentleman called Inder Gangar. Now, he was referred by Jim Gorby to me. Jim said he wanted to find out where is it available in India. So Jim guided him to me that you contact my friend. He is getting it from somewhere, he can help you. So he came, he joined our group, and he had millions of questions, like he was saying. So he said, why are you helping? And I said, because I want to see you happy. I want to share the miracle which I have had. That is why I'm trying to help you. I'm not helping you, I'm just guiding you. You have to help yourself and you have to have the medicine. I can't have the medicine for you to work. So he started and he used to be very angry. And some of the family members used to get worked up. Why are you keeping him here? I said, you forget it's not a group, it's a family. And you must understand when he is speaking like this, he's only speaking like this because he's in pain. He doesn't know his behavior. So you see how it happens. So I took that as a case to them. In 5 months, disease was gone. He had some other problems which they are still taking for. And this angry young man turned into Gautam Buddha. He said, sir, and you should see the way he writes to the family. So polite, so kind, so full of love. He has totally changed because his medicine makes a metaphysical change. It doesn't only change your body, it also changes your mind. It takes all the muck out of your system, makes you fresh. So this gentleman has decided he is going to use total training and education he has to help people. And he is going around his whole village, helping people, talking to them, bringing them medicine. He's also trying to make them attuned to let it grow. It widely grows around there during the off season. And he says that let this become the main crop and let it grow by itself. Make that oil and cure yourself. This is what it does. So exactly the way he is doing it, that's what happened to me. It's simple. If you are a simple person, you like people to be better, you will always go out doing it. And it's very rarely that until unless you've gone through the process, you don't realize that if somebody is talking to you about a medicine, shouting or asking you questions, it's because they are full of anxiety, they're full of worry, they have pain in their system. So they behave like that. If you talk to them in a friendly manner, if you talk to them like a brother or a sister, it works. So you have to instill that faith that here you are, here is something which can cure you. I'll tell you one doctor, she's just become a doctor. She's not yet started practicing. Her father has got bone cancer. And he is in a very bad shape. She is a doctor, but she didn't realize they were giving him through IV all kinds of supplements. And his cancer started getting worse and worse and worse. I said, you're a doctor, you should have realized that whatever you put into his system today will be taken over by the disease. Because the body has been taken over by the disease. And she was crying. I said, no, crying is not going to help. You have to be strong. You have to be strong. You have to laugh. And you have to make your patient understand. Make your father understand, your mother understand, or yourself. That nothing is going to put me down. I am going to beat this disease and I'm going to be okay. 50% of the battle is won. During this, what happened was he had a problem. There is a tumor in his exit route of his stool. That was hurting, so they took him to the hospital. In the hospital, doctors decided to give him a bypass and give him a bag. You know what they do, no? They make a hole in the stomach and put a pipe through and they give you a bag where all your stool comes. And normally what they do in our country, everywhere else, wherever there is some ethical practice going on, they always make it a temporary arrangement where they can go back once the system is repaired. In our country, they normally do it permanent, which is totally a bad practice. But luckily in her case, it was a temporary arrangement. And the doctor calls her up. She's got chickenpox, she's at home. And she is, obviously every daughter loves the father much more. She was devastated. She called me, sir, what to do? I am so helpless. I said, why? Because the doctor called her up and told her that I'm not sure whether he'll come out of the operation theatre alive. This is how doctors speak. So you can well imagine when somebody comes to us, they come to us not in the beginning when they should come. And they wouldn't go through this misery at all. They come to us when all the doors of their so-called doors are locked up. All those famous doctor friends of theirs, when they lock their doors, oh, sorry, I can't do anything more. That is where they come hunting to you. And once they come hunting to you, they ask you 20 questions whether it's going to work. Then I ask them, did you ask the first doctor who told you, oh, I'm going to give you chemo and you're going to live for 6 months and maybe you will die after 6 months? Did you ask them why? Why are you asking me? Why don't you try it and see? You have nothing to lose. Isn't it? So that is how it happens. My thing is, when you're sick, first thing you do is go for nature. It'll save you money. It'll save you from anxiety. Today's medical bill will wipe out your house. You'll have to sell your house and everything else and be on the road. Become an American Indian homeless because medical bills were so high. And that's happening.
So thank you, Ravindraji. You have shared some valuable information with us, and I'm sure this is going to help someone out there who are looking for some treatments for their cancer journey. So thank you so much for giving your tips for the same.
And I add that thing, I tell you, which you must carry, that you question the established poison first. Then you question nature. That should be the way the humans are. Humans should not question nature. Nature always does good for them. Nature never does anything bad. It's we humans who keep destroying nature and ourselves. So, wish you the best. And I hope people see sense and do sensible things. And the process is so simple. Maybe one day we'll have a meeting and I'll show you how to manufacture it. Everybody can grow it in their house, in pots, and make their own medicine.
Yeah, sure. So thank you for joining and giving out your time.
Most welcome. Thank you so much.